Hey everybody, Dr. Z here. Today we're talking about a fine line. And that fine line is when you're serving as a teacher or a mentor, is making sure students struggle, making sure they're going through the process on their own and having to do quite a bit of independent problem solving. But at the same time, on the other end of that continuum is building their confidence. So it's always this push and pull, or this healthy tension that mentors and teachers should be creating between struggle, the right amount of struggle, and the right amount of self-confidence, and helping them know that they can push through things. And that is quite a bit more of an art than a science. The image I like to use to make sure students can understand that they can build skills in a variety of industries and in a variety of functions within those industries is crawl, walk, run, fly. Most of us humans make the wrong comparisons, and comparison is the thief of joy. The number one thief of joy in the world is comparing ourselves not necessarily to the wrong person, but to the wrong spot and time to a person. And what I mean by that, it's okay to look at someone that you'd like to be like, a mentor, an idol, a figure in a field that you admire. But you can't say, hey, that's what I want to be. You have to think, when they were 18, that's who I want to be. You need to help your students make the appropriate comparisons in time. They can't just jump to doing something with expertise as like you might be doing it after 15 or 20 years experience in your industry. You need to take them back to gaining skills, that crawling and walking. It's about building the foundations and getting the appropriate scars and cuts and bumps and bruises, right? All those mistakes that you make along the way are extremely important. So one way that you can help students know, hey, you'll build these skills, is by talking about the time when you didn't have them, when you were in their shoes 10, 20 years ago, and the mistakes you made, the failures that you hit. Students love scar stories. If you can share stories about your scars, it will actually help them build confidence that, hey, this person is really successful, but looking at them today, I don't know how I'll ever become that. If you take them back in time and say, I was just like you, and here's where I got started, here were some wrong turns I made, maybe they'll be the right turns for you. So it's about reminding students there's a million different paths out there in life, much like this screenshot shows you. They can take different ones, and you're going to share the one that you've taken, and it's worked well for you, I assume, since you're serving as their mentor. But remember, crawl, walk, run, fly. Students want to run and fly right away, but that's not how things work. So use that as a process or a metaphor to guide them through their skill development throughout the semester. The other lesson you want to make sure you highlight is that skills don't just magically appear. Now, sure, some people have natural skills, what I'd call talent, and that's great. And so if you have a talented individual in the group who just naturally has an ability to sell or to market a product, great, leverage that and maybe ask them to share some of that expertise, or you can help draw that out of their head to begin to build some processes to help the other students improve their skills and take some steps in that direction. But the other thing you need to remind them, most skills come from what I'd call an intersection of TDJ. This is a tool we use in our house, and that stands for talent, discipline, and joy. And people will have extremely fulfilling, impactful lives if they can find the crosshairs between their talents, what they're naturally good at, discipline, what they're willing to put the time and energy and commitment behind to become better at, and then joy, what you experience passion and happiness in pursuing. So with this class project, hopefully you've got some talented individuals, and then they can find out where they're willing to commit for the discipline. It's all about that grit, that perseverance, and I know you'll all be able to talk through that using your own stories and metaphors. But it's not just the skills you see. Those don't magically appear. Even if somebody is talented, they're usually putting in long hours and commitment to get to that point. The last thing I'll share about skill development and building students' confidence in their ability to get those skills, remember to tell them to look on the horizon, and more importantly, for you to look on the horizon. Don't think about the skills that you needed when you were starting your career, or maybe even that are important right now for people entering their careers, graduating college. Encourage them and maybe even yourself to do some research about what industries are emerging, what trends are happening, so that in the next 3 to 5 years, or 5 to 10 years, whenever they're going to enter the workforce, those are some of the skills that you might begin sharing with students, or sharing resources about how they can learn more about what's to come and not necessarily what was from the past. Now, there's clearly things from the past that are going to be there, traditional skills in general that are always going to be important. But students love to get a bit of that traditional stuff that have made you successful. And they also love it when people have put themselves out there to say, I don't know as much about these things, but I've done some research and here's what seems to be coming. And if you put some time and effort and energy into learning about these, you'll probably set yourself up for success. So in a nutshell, in order to help students build confidence around the type of industry skills that they're going to pursue, you need to put some research and thought into what are those skills, and then remind them about crawl, walk, run, and fly. Have a good one.